Never. Because I knew I did it right, and I still think I do it right, and they're welcome to have a look round.
Do you get happiness from the dogs?
Put it the opposite way around. If they weren't here, there's no point in living. And I do mean that. That's from my point of view. Because people behave like people, which you'd expect them to. And I think they're dreadful.
You're a person.
Yes, but I'm not. I'm mad. I'm very eccentric, according to some people. They can think what they like. I really don't care.
But what do you think? Do you think you're mad? Do you think you're eccentric?
No, I think I'm anything but.
Have you ever been attacked by your dogs?
No, never. I know I sort of laugh and say one day you'll just find the winning to boots where I am, and that's what everybody thinks, but it's rubbish.
You don't worry that one day you might get knocked over and get knocked out and they won't be able to be fed?
I worry, of course I do, because I think dogs should be fed, and one day I might have another stroke.
As long as they don't start munching on your legs or something.
Well, hard like me, but I bet I'll be dead by that time. A nice bit of human steak won't hurt them.
Elizabeth King can turn her hand to almost anything. She was a meteorologist in the Navy, worked nights in a chocolate factory, owned a fast food restaurant and then a pet shop, bred dogs, and now runs a pub. Today she's gardening, at Her Majesty's pleasure. She's doing community service, punishment for being found guilty of cruelty to animals. For years, she's preferred animals to people. Lots of animals.
Basically, I'm different from most people locally. I'm probably different from a lot of people nationally. And that I have dogs instead of people as my family. And I've never been one to turn anything away. Therefore, I ended up with over 100 dogs and cats and rabbits and guinea pigs.
The RSPCA said the conditions she kept the animals in were cruel. The courts agreed.
I don't mind doing the unpaid work, but it's the unfairness of the court system not being able to actually get across the truth. And really, once it had been finished at one point, they then dragged me back into court, because at least I was left with the 6 dogs. But then they've now dragged me back into court and banned me for having anything for another 15 years. Which means that my 18-year-old dog should be rehomed, the dog that was born in my bedroom. I don't think so. I don't think that's fair to anybody.
Liz is appealing against her ban and is allowed to keep dogs until the court hearing. She lives above a pub in Norfolk with her friend and accomplice, Beryl Barker.
You went with them, didn't you? But they brought you back, yes, because they thought your mum missed you or something.
Beryl was a winner at crafts as long ago as 1954. Today, she's banned from keeping animals for life. Liz is custodian of Beryl's dogs. It's the only way Beryl can be with her beloved animals.
Would it be fair to say that things just got out of hand?
Yes, they got out of hand. Of course they got out of hand.
Do you regret it?
Totally. I'm banned for life. Hopefully it'll be over this year, I should think, if I can't have these, but no. This country is a load of crap, and nobody in it will stand up and be counted anymore. Don't you find that?
But do you think somewhere along the way you made mistakes?
Have you made any mistakes in your life? Of course I've made mistakes.
Is life all right at the moment, Beryl, or
no,
what?
It's crap. Total crap.
She doesn't want to be here, but you see, she can't be anywhere with the dogs without me, under the way that the law has left it at the moment.
Where do you want to be?
She wants to be back at the farm.
I want to be somewhere with my dogs.
You'd like to be back at the farm, though, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would.
This remote farm near the North Norfolk coast is where they kept more than 350 rabbits, guinea pigs, dogs and cats. Their nearest neighbours over half a mile away.
I'm late. Yes, I know I'm late.
Liz still makes frequent visits to feed the cats that stayed behind.
Where are the others?
The 6-acre site is packed with hutches, kennels and caravans, once homes for their vast menagerie. When the RSPCA came calling in June 2005, they were shocked by what they found.
Obviously showing vast quantities of faeces all over the floor. Walking through, showing various dogs.
Liz can't see what is staring her in the face. Her memories of the farm and all their animals are very different from the RSPCA's pictures.
It's a properly built kennel with a slot that you could let in and out. You could have the top door open.
That is the first kennel, MT8.
If you're going to treat a dog like a dog, that's fine. If you expect to humanise it, probably it's not fine.
Obviously the floor area has not been cleaned out for some time.
Now, if you have one rabbit in a hutch that size, I really can't see that it's inadequate housing.
This is pen K, very soiled water with faeces.
This is the cat pens, and we had 2 cats one side and 2 cats the other.
The kitten appears to have severe eye problems.
It's a shame to see it all overrun though, isn't it?
Very, very sad, yes. Very sad. But it's such a beautiful place and so peaceful. Really, we didn't bother anybody, and really nobody had any reason to bother us.
Just like Helen Hine, Liz and Beryl were addicts. Even after a warning from the RSPCA, they just couldn't stop.
This is the second time the RSPCA had been there in a matter of 2 years or 26 months. Therefore, they were likely to reoffend.
They intended to take them before they came. When I drove up the road, there were 3 or 4 vans in the local lay-by. They'd already decided that they were coming to take our animals away. It was planned.
I honestly do not believe that Liz and Beryl are bad, wicked people. Had they done what we asked them to do 3 years ago, they would not be in the position they are today, because we left them with 40 dogs. We said you must castrate or spay the bitches, but they did nothing about it. I think had we gone there today, we probably would have been removing 500 animals.
A year on, Liz is still fighting what she feels is an injustice. In denial, unable to recognise the weight of evidence against them.
I think we sat stunned for days, really, except for when we got the phone call to go, and I got the phone call to go and help at the RSPCA kennels. It was very, very difficult, but for the dog's sake, I had to do it. I had to make that transition as easy as possible for them. And stupidly, even when I was there and the dogs were there, I thought that somehow it would all be sorted out and some of them would come home again. But of course they never did, except for Shatsy.
18-year-old Shatsy is now Liz's only dog. The others belong to Beryl.
You've got 5 animals now who you quite clearly are attached to and devoted to.
Yes.
How could you give the same amount of love and devotion to over 100 dogs?
No, I'll be perfectly honest with you, can't. Like, I've known lots of people with big families, but they don't love all their children the same. You can't. But they were all fed and all looked after. They weren't smacked, they weren't bullied, they were let out to play, they could do what they liked.
The living conditions of some of these animals was unbelievable. The ones outside and in lean-tos, there was no bedding whatsoever. The water was either dirty, filthy, or non-existent. And I recall counting it. In one of them there was 29 guinea pigs, and the whole floor was just covered in guinea pig crap.
Why would these people who think we're cruel and taking us to court and saying this, that and the other,